Hello guys, thank you for tuning in, QCS here. I'm about to show you guys how to organize your bank and I make a little bit of a guide out of it. I hope you will enjoy it. Let's get into it. But first you must look through your bank and actually see what you wanna dismiss or get rid of. So basically I'm gonna combine everything for the jewelry and I'm gonna clean all the herbs, things like that. Just get rid of whatever you want to get rid of. That's part 1. In Drainer, at the wise old man, if you talk to him, do more options, would you check the items for junk please? If you actually click this one, he will showcase everything that you don't need from the quest requirements anymore. So if you have a certain item that maybe you need for next quest, or if you actually completed that quest, so the item therefore becomes irrelevant to have in your bank, it actually shows it by all free members. We don't have any of those, but you can just drag it over here and just delete it. So now you get rid of everything that you want to get rid of. You're actually gonna collapse the current tabs that you have, besides maybe the ones that already are made quite nice, but I assume you might not, because me neither. So basically I'm gonna collapse. Well, I'm actually gonna keep those two, and the rest we're gonna collapse. So now over here we have this current tab, which I'm just gonna keep, and this one as well, but we will get in that later. The rest we are gonna organize by how you wanna have your tabs. So basically, if for example you say I'm a PVMer or I'm a skiller or whatever, that's where you're gonna base your skills on. I'm an Iron Man, I stack a lot of runes, everything like that, you know, so I'm kind of a hoarder, so I make myself a little bit more difficult than necessary. So I want to have my potions and my food at one tab. So that's what we're gonna do. Of course, I want to have my gear on a different tab as well. So I will search for my gear, etc. By the way guys, make sure you don't release everything that has a placeholder. So you can use bank filters, that's fine. If you have the placeholder, keep that on. If you know you're gonna buy that item eventually or obtain that item eventually. Anyway, it saves you a lot to recognize where it should be or where it's gonna be, right? So another helpful tip is actually, if you go to your settings, press resizable modern, and you click it, and then you stretch your whole screen, I will show you cases right now, you have a vertical long screen. Therefore, you have a free accessibility over your whole bank. Another useful tip is, if you want to keep a certain row, let's say this is perfect, you just implement one row of bank fillers, because this is all meshy and messed up and not incorrect, or not correct, I could rather say. So therefore you have a definitive space to know what is already done. So let's say this is already done, then you can work on the rest to just have a more clear of mind. And whenever the row is done, so let's say this is perfectly, you just remove this row. So I divided my bank tabs into teleports, food and potions, utilities for slayer, combat, etc., gear, herblore supplies, skilling supplies, trophy, high alg, and junk. Over here we have a couple of bank fillers that I'm gonna use so we can make the bank look better in place. And I like to have my clues over here in the first tab with my money, so I can instantly see, hey, I have some clues, I need to do them, right? So as you for example see over here, it's a complete mess, but we're gonna clean up everything. This is a mess, so this part actually will take a while. You can actually, for example, if we quickly do this, watch, and swap over here, let's say you only have one part or 0 parts of Inquisitors, you can replace it by, let's say, bronze. You don't gonna need a bronze plate body, I know that, but it looks like Inquisitors, so for me that kind of helps in a way. So how do you actually make the bank nice? First, you want to know, for example, I will give this as an example. Are you going to stack it horizontally or vertically? Over here, I like to do it vertically for my runes. And over here, I like to do it horizontally for my tabs. I, of course, calculated all my tabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that makes 11, right? RC spellbook things, teleports. Then I calculated this, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So okay, 9 of those. I try to do it by color. And I try to do it at least by items. So tabs on the same time, on the same place. And color on the same place. Just because, you know, it looks better. It's more aesthetic. So now everything is done and you have it organized. I will showcase my complete bank. Feel free to pause it wherever you see fit to maybe just copy paste it. I don't mind it at all. If you have the same bank as me, aesthetically pleasing, let's say, and you like it, feel free to copy. Let's go into it. So as you already guys know, over here, the teleports, this hasn't changed one bit at all. I already liked it for my previous bank, so I just kept it. Of course, I use bank fillers. It might not be aesthetically pleasing to watch, but I have a good reason why I use my bank fillers consistently. Over here, I want to have, for example, the Guardian of the Rift teleport. That will resolve, you know, to just replace it, so I already know where it's going to be at. Then we have, of course, the next step, which is all the food. Over here, for example, is going to be the heart, the imbued heart, because I just like to have the pre-pots completely in one tab. So every time we do PVM, it's just imbued heart, ranging potion, attack potion, stamina, etc. Right? And overbrewing with an angler or whatever. Then we have more. Oh yeah, I also want to say it's pretty easy to recognize due to the fact that this is going to be ranged. Then we have melee over here. Those are Samurai Brews. And then mage, right? Then underneath this is more like the Slayer, if that makes sense, for a little bit of melee Slayer. Then Saradomins, Super Restores, Zenview. I like to have them next to each other, so the Saradomins and Restores, so it's easy to recognize, if that makes sense. And Zenviews and of course go hand in hand with the Sarwas. So yeah, prayer potions and the wilderness potions. This is more the utility of the potions, so extended anti-fires, super anti-fires, venomous plus, and everything like that, right? So I just try to set everything on place as well there. It might not be yellow next to yellow, because I will, of course, at some point then bring super defense instead of, for example, Saradomin potions. So I took a little bit ahead about that, if that makes sense. Also, if we go to the next step over here, this is our ranging tab / slayer tab, I could rather say. Let's say call it like a slayer tab, it's fine. So we have dragon arrows poisonous, and things like that, amethyst arrows, everything. So basically you want to look at it like this, if you follow the mouse, right? It's just all a little bit the same. Over here, this is a little bit utility for Slayer. We have, for example, since I do a lot of chambers, I bring those items in. Think about the Phoenix necklace, Ring of Recoil, things like that. So I just try to have everything PVM-wise at one spot. Also, I like to just have the unfinished things, due to the fact that it's a little bit more organized that way. So feel free to copy anything that you want. Now, of course, for the main course. Sorry, my throat. For the main course, I started off with everything that I have on barrows. I don't know why, I find it pleased to watch to it, if that makes sense. It's decent. It's also 3 rows wide, so that's quite nice. And over here, I'm gonna get myself full Torva, full Masori, full Ancestral. Over here, this is gonna be the Sug Helm, the Master, Master and Elite Helms, and things like that. Just everything organized with Slayer. So we scroll a little bit down more, the boots. So basically over here, if you watch like this, right? And I scroll down up until the point that I have my first row of rings. That's all one row of best in slots, if that makes sense. Best in slot to Berserk, archer, and seers. Then over here I have my void. Some extra, what would I say, capes and other utilities. Of course, here's going to be the Inferno cape and Max cape Inferno and the regular ones. So yeah, that's quite decent, I will say. Then the second best, so this is going to be Justicar eventually. This is going to be my Inquisitors. We only have the helm right now. And we only, for example, have the crystal legs. But here's going to be the body and helm. So underneath that is just a couple of extra capes. Can never hurt to have more, you know, even though we have the golden one as well. But golden one is more aesthetically pleasing at the Masoris, of course, than, for example, my crystal. Crystal and blue looks better. Also over here, I actually made myself 4. So normally I only had the Charis and then I had the attachments, right? The gems. So now I just attached everything to one and made a placeholder. It's just a little bit more inventory wasting, but it stays better. And I think eventually something like here is going to be, I assume, the Fang. Something like that. So here's going to be the rest of my rings. Over here is going to be the Dragonfire Shield, Ward, everything like that. Over here, this is going to be the Nightmare Staves. And then, of course, the Gauntlet and everything like Dome of Fire, Water, Tome, etc. Right? So basically, Bendels, Armadillo, some Obsidian, because I'm an Iron Man. I used that way back in the day. Some Wilderness things. Over here, can never hurt. It's basically a good prayer setup, if that makes sense. So all the God War staves gonna be over here. I think, honestly, it's not too shabby. A couple of the amulets cannot hurt. Eventually, I want to have my Sang staff over here. And then pretty much, let's see. Yeah, so the recolored Dragon Hunters gonna go here. Then, of course, we cannot forget about the other things like Armadillo upgraded towards Cerosius and then or Saros, whatever it's called. ZCB, and then the shield, whatever it's called, right? The buckler, that one. So yeah, of course this is going to be eventually my crazy rapier, and here the mace, the Inquisitor's mace, and this is going to be a Bova eventually. So yeah, I think honestly, not too shabby. It looks a little bit odd for now, but once we do a little bit more PVM on this Iron Man, it will eventually, within, I hope, 2 years be completed. I guess that's relevant in my pace. So now we have the herb tab, and actually this is quite easy to recognize. So this is a 4, because we can make then weapon potions ++, and those are 4. So this is actually Guam. Then we go to Maritil, Terramin, all the way to Torstal. So this is from worst to best, right? Like that. Then all the secondaries over here. So the row secondaries. So this, for example, the dwarves, we need wine, therefore making ranging potions. So everything is like that, except for this is 4 and this is 4. And over here we have those two. So, those two. The dwarf wheat potion unfinished with the lily of the sand that makes some potions. Of course, we have a jug of water with grapes for cooking pretty much. And then we have super energy with the amylase crystals for our staminas. Over here, this is once again from worst seeds towards the best seeds. All the utilities for what I consider necessary. The rest is not really, like a rake is not necessary if you do the proper things in the mini games like tiled farm and things like that. You don't need a rake anymore. So yeah, I just try to add it like this. So for example, yew sapling goes with cactus, right? Things like that. Of course, this one is not for papaya, but I did not have the rest, so it's a good filler for me. Anyway, I think this makes sense and should not really be thought over too much, because it's just everything is in order like that to make something out of it. I don't get myself the Grimmies, or the Grimies, whatever you want to pronounce it, due to the fact that I'm Iron Man. But if I were to be a main and I would not train Herblore, I would save the Grimies due to the fact while PvMing you always get the Grimies and never the clean ones. Thus having grimy seeds over cleaned is just way better for inventory management. But that's just, Iron Man, so that's why it's clean. Then we have our, how would I say, Skilling tab. Yeah, this is definitely a skilling tab. Over here we have pretty much soft clay due to the fact I had no idea where I wanted to place it. It's a good visual aid as well, of course, for our first tab item. Then regular planks, because I don't want to have normal logs. I don't want to have the normal oak, therefore I do the plank sack. Then I do have teak, of course, and I do have mahogany, so it's like this, right? So the rest I make like that as well, like first one, then smelt it to the bar, so the ore to the bar, and I line that up. Now, this part became a little bit tricky. Technically, I go for low to high, as you see. But here, this would be from low to high, technically. But then, if I do like this, right, then this is the lowest and this one is higher. So I actually went for a choosing over the green D heights due to the fact that we have anyway not enough height to fill it up. So that's why I actually went with the second highest first and then the lowest. But yeah, that's just debatable for you guys, I guess. Then let's see, got some extra logs over here, some extra over here, everything like that. Eventually, when I have a black demon task, I will do some, what is it, demonic gorilla. So here's gonna be the Zerites. Let's see, then over here, this is just some skilling things. Think about the flags into the bowstring. It's always nice to do your birdhouse runs. Some extra amethyst, because who cares? There is nothing really you can smelt with, so that's a good place like that. And over here, buckets of sand with giant seaweeds, which make molten glass. So that's a good, you know, line, let's say. I had no idea where to place my feathers, so I just set it here. This eventually will become crystal and crystal. So yeah, then actually some helpful utilities like tools. Over here, we have everything somewhat in line. So starting from big bones to superior. I don't think this is 100% true. I think actually more like this, but whatever. It should be fine enough. If I'm correct, it is like that. Then and soul chaos towards all the way dragon. Yeah, and soul dragon head. And then the long bone, curved bone is going to be here eventually. So I think this is looking very decent. Now, this is more like the, how would I say, trophy tab. I think trophy tab is the right word to say. So we're gonna save up everything that we catch along the way, of course. Some clue things. I don't have a master, so I set my master over here. The reward casket. Eventually, I will trade that over, of course. So I can set it over here. Then money, and other payment things. So think about stardust, think about minerals, and all the other things that you want to preserve, so you can buy something with those points. So yeah, over here we have the caches of runes. Eventually from the new, what is it, Muspa boss is gonna drop a casket as well, so I'm gonna place that. And over here Bandos Hilt, and over here Armadillo. So basically all the 5 is gonna be like that. From Cerberus, like the crystals. Then from Hydra, the crystals, or whatever it's called for the ring, you know, the ring attachment things. Then we have the shards. The wilderness weapons. The green one is going to go over here. Blue one is going to go over here. A couple of totems and things like that. And other utilities. Over here, yeah, this is just a mess. From here on out, I have no idea. I just threw it in pretty much keys by keys and you know, kits with kits, but nothing too major. It's a little bit messy along the way down at the bottom. But over here, it looks quite okay. Then we have the Hierarch tab. So I started off with Dragon, then Rune, so everything goes to lower, up until the point that we actually have Granite. But since there is no Granite male and female, or whatever it's like chainmail and like skirt, legs, etc., I just set it under. So I could actually make a nice, decent way into the staves, if that makes sense. So battle staves into the mystics, same goes for there. Then we have some high alks from here, then all the rune and all the dragon. But I think that's for now quite decent. Honestly, this tab, guys, is things that I'm using right now, but eventually I don't need it anymore. Therefore, think about I'm gonna make more jugs of water, so the jugs is gonna be away, and that will be replaced in the jugs of water tab, right? I'm currently working on, what is it, the Black Salamander task for Kriara to kill him with a Black Salamander. So after I do that, I release the Black Salamander. So this is more, I need it once, I need it twice, I need it a little bit, and then it's just gone. So it's kind of like a junk tab, I would rather say. I hope this guide helped you. Please like and subscribe. It would make my day. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy and let me know how the progress of your bank went. Have a good one. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell.